Welcome to Odds.com's NCAA basketball coverage for Saturday, February 27th with our NCAA basketball expert, Maxwell Smart, who is running hot, baby. Another winning day on the Maxwell Smart train. 6 wins, 4 losses, plus 1.72 units. Max, I know you were striving for plus 30 units. We are 0.44 units away from that. 216 wins, 171 losses, 55.8% plus 29.56 units. ROI plus 7.64%. Average line minus 109. Man, feels pretty good, man. Good work.
Absolutely, Jim. It feels really good, and I definitely think that you coming back to the show has made it better, taken pressure off of me. I don't have to line shop, and that's great because I line shop for all my plays with up to 12 offshore scummy books, and it is a workload and a half. So when I can pass that off to you, Jim, I'm sorry if this sounds ungrateful, but I'm grateful that you take this off my slate.
Man, hey, look, we just want you as calm, cool, collected, relaxed, and focused as possible. So if I can take any of that pressure off of you, then our listeners, the fans, and our friends who watch the show are thanking me right now, saying, come on, let's take as much pressure off Max as possible. Let him focus on giving us winners. And that's what you've been doing. And now we have this big Saturday card. You've got a lot of marquee games, and you start with the Patriot League, which is the best place for you, is the Patriot League. Are you ready to get to work?
Of course, absolutely. I'm born to do this with you on the other side.
Well, let's get right to it. We start in the Patriot League, 12 p.m. Eastern. Navy Midshipmen, 13-2 on the year, 10-1 in conference at Loyola, Maryland Greyhounds, 4-8 in conference, Reitz Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Navy opening up as 1-point favorites. That's moved to a pick'em at some books. This total is sitting at open at 133. It's climbed a little bit. There's a 133.5. And there is a 134. Navy returned from their COVID-forced pause of basketball activities with back-to-back wins at American last Saturday and Sunday. Senior Cam Davis is the only midshipman averaging double digits with 17.1 points. They shot 52.8% from the field in their win on Sunday. On the season, they're shooting 44.1% from the field, 32.8% from three, and 73% from the stripe. Navy has won its last 5 road games, scoring 70.2 points while allowing 62.4 per game. Loyola is coming off a victory over American. It was their 3rd win in 4 games. They defeated them 60-49 at home on Wednesday as 9-point favorites. They only turned the ball over 9 times. They held American to just 28.3% from the field. Loyola has beaten Navy at home 3 straight times. 6'11" Spaniard Santi Aldama leads the Greyhounds in scoring, averaging 21 points and 10.7 rebounds. Guards Jalen Andrews and Isaiah Hart also average double digits, 11.2 and 10.1 respectively. This squad hits 45.5% from the field, but they struggle mightily from everywhere else. Just 28.6% from 3 and 59.6% from the foul line. Max, we're here in your conference. Take it away.
Jim, I'm the Patriot League governor, and anybody that says that they're the Patriot League governor, I will meet them in a dark alley with a sharp fork, and I will pick them to death. Okay? That's how I'm doing. And you know what else I'm doing? I'm riding with my guys, the Navy Midshipmen. Even though John Carter Jr. may not be playing in this game, I like what exists. I like the depth. I like the system that really is capable of just plugging in the next guy up. And I think that Navy, while they do need a good start, they are a team that can play from behind. The question is, how are they going to produce offensively versus this supposed improved Loyola defense? I think that when you look at this defense, you have to also realize, well, the numbers have gotten a lot better because they played Lehigh and they played American twice. You know, they didn't go up against the best of the best in the Patriot League, and now they got to deal with the best of the best. Last time these guys played, it was a 70-52 game. And I think with Navy, they're more established at the 3-point line with guys like Daniel Deaver and Greg Summers and Tyler Nelson and, of course, Cam Davis. I think that with Navy, they have to do a good job on the glass. I think that when it comes to offensive rebounding, something that Loyola does very well with Golden DK and Aldama and their guards that go to the board, even Alonzo Foray, I think that Navy is able to do a better job than most teams have of boxing out, limiting those offensive rebounds, probably cutting that in half or less. With Navy, they just got to do a good job when it comes to ball security. If they can keep the turnovers down, they're going to be controlling the tempo. They're going to be slowing it down and speeding it up at their discretion. And I think that the slower they play this game, the better off they're going to be. The more that you force Loyola to play in the half court and throw it to Santi Aldama on the low block and let him make the decision, that's the best case scenario for Navy against this offense. I think that when you see more balanced scoring from Loyola and Aldama's not putting in 25 or more, that's when they're at their most dangerous. And I'll keep on saying this. With this Loyola team, although they do have capable guards that can handle the ball, whether it be Andrews, Hart, Brashear, there's a bunch of guys, even Wade Jackson, the freshman, they still don't have Cam Spencer. And if Cam Spencer was in the lineup for this team, then I'd be looking at Loyola Maryland in a lot of games. But he's not there. This is a Navy team that is able to disrupt the ball movement of better teams than this. I think that they're day warriors. They've rewarded us in these early games and cashed for us. They've cashed for us on the road. They've cashed for us in every situation, whether it be conference. They've cashed for us in unders in conference. I don't know how to play this game except for taking Navy in the under. So I'm just going to do that. My numbers like Navy up to 4 and this total at 130. So you want to give me 4 points of value and then another 3? I'll take that. Double up. Let's go, Jim.
Navy Midshipmen is a pick'em at Circa. So you're getting a minus 110 there. When we look from a total perspective, we have 134.5 at BetMGM. Wow, that's nice. FanDuel is at 133.5. FoxBet doesn't have this game up. And Circa has it at 132.5. So, wow, beautiful. The under 134.5 for Maxwell Smart. 4.5 at minus 110. And that was available at BetMGM. And that was a, just ensure that was a minus 110 situation, and it is. Okay, beautiful. Maxwell Smart is on the board. Navy Midshipmen at a pick'em, and the under 134.5. This game pops off at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we move on. We got a bunch of marquee games on Max's card this Saturday. 2 p.m. Eastern is our next stop. Miami Hurricanes, 7-14, 3-13 in the ACC at Clemson Tigers, 14-5, 8-5 in the ACC. We're at Littlejohn Coliseum in Clemson, South Carolina. And Miami opened as 13-point underdogs. That hasn't moved. And the opening is a Bet365 opener, so keep that in mind when I hand that out. The total opened up at 128.5. I see a 129 on the board. I see a 128 on the board. So market not exactly sure which route to take. Miami, as we've talked about on the show often, being battered by injuries all year long. They're coming off their 4th straight loss, 88-71 at home versus Florida State. They only turned the ball over 8 times, but they shot 34.8% from the field in the loss. Isaiah Wong continues to lead the way, 29 points, 4 for 5 from 3. He's averaging 17.3 on the season, but they struggle to score if the ball is not in Wong's hands. They average just 66.3 points per game. They hit just 41.8% from the field, 29.4 from 3, and 68.2 from the stripe. They've lost their last 5 road games and been outscored in those 5 road games by an average of 18.4 points. Clemson's won 4 straight, coming off completely shutting down Wake Forest on the road 60-39. They held Wake Forest to just 25.5% from the field, out-rebounded them 40-22. Amir Sims is the only Tiger averaging double digits, 13.3 points, 6.2 boards. They average 42.2% from the field, 32.2% from 3, and 76.5% from the foul line. While their offense struggles at times, their defense is always strong, allowing just 61.8 points per game. That ranks 13th among Div 1 teams. They are 9-0 when they score at least 66 points. Max, Clemson Tigers, 13-point favorites, 2 p.m. Eastern in the ACC. Take it away.
Yeah, Jim, when I looked at this game initially, I was like, 13-point favorites? These guys played a 66-65 game last time out in Miami, and without Amir Sims and his 25 points, that game looks a lot different on the box score than it does now. And I think that with Clemson, just not doing a good job of attacking defenses, of forcing defenses to either let them score or put them on the free throw line and make them earn it. And that's where this team needs to do a better job. They need to do, I guess what I would say, they need to lock down a little more on the interior. I think that they need to switch the defenses up, maybe play that 1-3-1, slow teams down a little more, maybe try and switch it up so that you're getting a couple more turnovers, because this Clemson team definitely has the length at the guard spots to be able to do that, to be able to extend their defense and make it difficult to get into shooting positions. But Miami can also be hard to handle. And while everyone's talked about the injuries, the guys that are still there have been stepping up, whether that be Elijah Olani, the Stony Brook transfer, who is a bully. He's strong on the ball. You're not going to be able to keep him off the free throw line and out of the lane. It's just a matter of what kind of tempo and pace this game is played at. The faster this game is, the better it is for Miami, in my opinion, even though they've been giving up 80-plus points a game in the last 5. With Cam McGusty, this is a guy that is capable of breaking out in any game. And with Isaiah Wong, he is the 30-point-per-game guy. So there is the opportunity for big performances in a buy low spot on Miami. And I think with Miami, Jim, there's lots of action towards the rim. So Clemson's biggest advantage on the defensive end from the numbers is their 3-point defense. So that sort of negates that. The issue is, can Miami limit their turnovers, and then can they avoid getting rattled in the half court if shots aren't dropping? I think that you're going to get some unexpected low post production from Nazir Brooks and Anthony Walker. I think that if you get 20 and 15 from those guys combined, I think that you have a very good shot of staying within this number. I would have only had Clemson about 8.5 to 9.5 point favorite. So at 13, there's a lot of value with Miami, in my opinion. The question is, has Miami packed it in and given up? I don't think so. And I think that they're going to come out and surprise Clemson. Wow.
I like it. And I can give you a nice juicy 13.5 at circa. Let me see if I can beat that. In that 13.5 minus 110. The 13.5 at BetMGM is minus 120. Let's see if I can do any better. I'd be surprised if I can, but let's do our due diligence here. And FanDuel at 13. So we're going to give Maxwell Smart the Miami Hurricanes plus 13.5 at minus 110. That's available at Circa Sports, a great online book if you are in Nevada or Colorado. Max, we move on, but we stay at 2 p.m. Eastern time slot. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 9-12, 6-9 in conference at Boston College Eagles, 3-13, 1-9 in ACC. Silvio Conte Forum in Old Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Notre Dame has lost 2 straight. They opened up as 6.5-point favorites. That has ballooned up. That's now at 8. There's still some 7.5s on the board. This total opened up at 149. There are some 149.5s. Notre Dame coming off a 69 57 loss at Louisville. Only 7 players saw the floor. Very short rotation. They shot just 36.8% from the field, 25% from 3. All 5 starters averaged double digits, led by 6'10" Nate Lazuski, who averages 14.3 points, 7.6 boards. He's coming off a rough night against Louisville. 2 points, 4 boards. Notre Dame only turns the ball over 10.2 times a game. They shoot 46.4% from the field, 37.4% from 3, and 77% from the line. Boston College has lost 4 straight in 8 of 9. They're coming off a 2-week pause due to positive COVID tests. They suspended second leading scorer freshman Winston Tabbs for the rest of the season for violating COVID protocols. He's since entered the player transfer portal. They also lost third leading scorer Rich Kelly for the season from a foot injury. They've been led all season long by Jay Heath, averages 14.3 points per game. They average 42% from the field, 32.7% from 3, and 70.8% from the stripe. Notre Dame fighting Irish, big road favorites here in the ACC. Let's roll, Max. What do you think here?
Yeah, Jim, I think that with Notre Dame, it's sort of like, why not? This Boston College team, while they're not dead in the water, they're definitely walking bloody, seeking help, and fluids, the wrong kind, are coming out of them. Mm-hmm. I think that with this Notre Dame team, they're going to have to do a good job, obviously on Jay Heath, but more importantly, I think on Stephon Mitchell. Stephon Mitchell is a very versatile, small 4, and he can really do some damage inside and create those second chance opportunities that stop Notre Dame from creating that gap in margin of victory. I think with Notre Dame, they have to be able to take advantage of this team that they've already beaten by 10 points with Winston Tabbs and Rich Kelly in. I think that this Boston College team definitely has the capability of giving up if they get down early. So this is a spot where I think Notre Dame is going to be led by Trey Wirtz. Trey Wirtz is the Santa Clara transfer that got eligible, and he was the connecting piece for this team. I think that when you throw him and Cormac Ryan on the floor together, both of them can run the offense at different times, and it can put the defensive backcourt at a major disadvantage. And if both of them are hitting threes, well, then it's even more dangerous. I think that with this Notre Dame team, they have to just take advantage of a team that they can beat. You have Dane Goodwin, who's a good slasher, has good athleticism, and with his length is going to be able to get to the free throw line and into those scoring zones close to the bucket more often than not. With Jawan Durham, he is a very dominant front court piece that you have to feed the ball in high percentage areas, and when you do, he's going to be able to reward you. He's done a great job of doing that consistently this year. And if Notre Dame's three-point shot is dropping, this is going to be over early. This is a spot where I think that it could be a rout. And in routes, especially at numbers at the 149.5 range, I like unders. So I'm looking at Notre Dame. I'm looking at the under. And I think that our people, fellow Canadian Nikola Djogo, is going to play a big role also. He's the last guy off the bench in this rotation. He can give you some versatility, and I like my fellow Canadians, so I definitely like to shout them out and show that they are the bomb, because this Notre Dame team versus Boston College have a first half of advantage of at least 6 to 8 points. When it comes to their shooting from the field, only 3 makes more, but 3 makes really helps us at this number. If they can force Boston College out to the 3-point line where they're trying to shoot every shot that they take from 3, hopefully not a lot of them are dropping. Limit Boston College's free throw trips by limiting the Langfords and Jay Heath's driving lanes. Slow the game down, because both of you don't have the kind of depth to get into a run and gun foul situation. And with neither being dominant on the glass, hopefully there's minimal second chance scoring, and we get a lot of extended possessions, a lot of good use of the shot clock towards the under. So Notre Dame and the under for me, Jim. That's how I'm moving.
Well, I can get you the under 149.5, minus 110. A couple books have moved it to 149, but the FanDuel, Bet365, they're all at 149.5 minus 110. The issue comes with Notre Dame on the spread. The 7.5s come with minus 115. The 8s come at minus 110.
The fact that that's already at goddamn 8 is ridiculous. But I'll take the 7.5.
All right.
Ugh, that just pisses me off, Jim. Just
minus 7.5 at minus 110. Oh, sorry, minus 115 at Bet365. That's at Bet365 and BetMGM. The minus 115 has moved to 8 there. Sorry about that, Max. What did you get it at?
6.5. And it opened at 4.5.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
To move 4 points in like 8 hours is ridiculous. That's what I think. And we're still talking the day before the game actually gets played.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Notre Dame Fighting Irish under 149.5 at minus 110 and minus 7.5 at minus 115. We stay at 2 p.m. Eastern and we move over to the SEC. LSU Tigers 14-7, 9-5 in conference. At number 20, Arkansas Razorbacks 18-5, 10-4 in the SEC and making a lot of noise. Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And let's see what we are dealing with. Arkansas 4.5-point favorites, almost across the board. A couple books have moved it to 5. Nice high total that hasn't moved, sitting at 161. LSU had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 91-78 loss at Georgia. Leading scorer freshman Cameron Thomas continued his strong play. 21 points. He averages 22.7 on the season. Javonte Smart, Trendon Watford, Darius Days, all averaging double digits, but no one else averaging more than 4.2 points per game. They score 82.9 points, but get very little distribution. With that high of a total, they average just 12.2 assists per game. They are 1-4 or 1-for-4, so 1-3 against ranked opponents this year. They shoot 47.1% from the field, 34.6% from 3, and 75.1% from the foul line. Arkansas has won 5 straight. They're coming off a very impressive 81-66 win over number 6 ranked Alabama. They're well balanced. They showed it again in their win. 5 players scored double figures, led by freshman Moses Moody's 24. 16 of those came from the stripe. He averages 16.5 points per game. They've won 8 straight in conference. They've won 6 straight at home. They score 82.4 points per game, hit 45.1% from the field, 33.7% from 3, and 73.8% from the foul line. A well-balanced Razorback squad, Max, and just short favorites here at home. What do you think here? SEC action at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, Jim, I think that this is a situational revenge spot for Arkansas. They lost by 16 at LSU. They lost on the glass. They had 11 less field goal attempts. They were down 20 at halftime. And this is a must-win game for them on the glass. They got to show some toughness. They got to show some ability to box out and really to take the freaking fight right out of LSU early. With Arkansas, they shot 34% in that game. I don't think that's repeating itself. They have cashed 5 straight tickets as a favorite, and that margin of victory has been over 6.5 points from the closing line. So there's selling point value on the spread, and there's value with Arkansas. I think that Arkansas is winning this game by close to 10 points. I think that as long as they set the tone early and win with defense, they're going to be fine. This is a team that, in this winning streak, have only allowed teams to shoot 38% and 35% from the three-point line. This is a team that goes to the rim. Their three-point defense that they're going to deal with from LSU is LSU's major defensive strength. So they really cut that out because they're a team that wants to get to the rim and get to the free throw line. When you have glue pieces like Jalen Tate and Justin Smith, who are both transfers that Greg Musselman brought in, well, you can understand why they're having the impact that they do. Jalen Tate and Justin Smith are both playing 35-plus minutes with Moses Moody. That's your big 3. Those are your guys that can bring it on the defensive end and can bring it on the offensive end. Jalen Tate can get and slash into the rim. He can handle the ball, and he can come up with a steal at the most opportune time. I think that this Arkansas team is going to take the ball away from LSU. They've been doing it around 17 to 20 times. Their ability to help defend and deflect passes and defend on jump shooters. It's just been, I'm not going to say a revelation. It's just been very impressive. The way that they've been able to slow these fast tempo teams down. I think that getting an early game really plays into Arkansas's favor because of the different amount of lineups that they can throw at you. They can throw a lineup that's Desi Sills, JD Notae, Jalen Williams, Tate, and Smith. They can throw a bunch of different lineups at you because they have that much freaking quality. I haven't even mentioned the 7-footer Connor Vanover, who can come in, hit a three, score inside for you, get to the free throw line, get a block. It's all about what Arkansas does on defense because you know they're going to produce on offense, especially at home. If they can contain Cam Thomas, that would allow Wofford and Javonte Smart to get some. That would probably be acceptable enough for them to win and cover this game. I think that they're going to remember the loss that they took to this LSU team, and I think that they're coming with a nice, dirty batch of cock soup, and they are force-feeding those Tigers all the way back to the Bayou.
Sounds like cock soup is on the menu here. Arkansas -4.5 at -110 at Circa. A lot of the books have moved it to -116 and -115, and a couple books have moved it to -5. Max, do you think at all that this 4.5 is just not big enough and that it should be a red flag?
I do not think so because we know how Vegas odd makers get their opening lines, and that is by KenPom.
Okay, valid. There you have it. Arkansas Razorbacks for our Maxwell Smart at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We move on to a game that means a lot to our expert, college basketball expert, Maxwell Smart. Marquette Golden Eagles at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11-12, 6-10 in the Big East at the UConn Huskies. 11-6, 8-6 in the Big East. We're in Stores, Connecticut for this matchup. We have Connecticut opening up as 6.5-point favorites. A bunch of books have moved it to 7. This total sitting at 135.5. A couple books have moved it to 135. These teams faced each other on January 5th, 65-54 UConn road victory. Marquette's bounced back from their 3-game losing streak by defeating Butler in North Carolina on the road by double digits in impressive fashion. 6'11" freshman Dawson Garcia had a monster game against North Carolina, 24 points, 11 boards, leads the team in scoring with 13.1 points. DJ Carton and Kobe McEwen also averaged double digits. Marquette averages 70.8 points per game, hits 44.8% from the field, 33.5% from 3, and 73.6% from the stripe. UConn's won 3 of 4, coming off an impressive 70-57 win at Georgetown. Max got us all on UConn for that game. Book night, 20-10. But look at RJ Cole. And my goodness, was he excellent. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 steals, 0 turnovers. I mean, what more can you ask from your primary ball handler? They're a pretty impressive 1-2 punch. And the team seems to be coming together at the right time. UConn is a perfect 8-0 when the defense holds opponents to a field goal percentage of 40.3% or less. They rank 8th among Div 1 teams with an offensive rebounding percentage of 36.9%. Coming together at the right time, looking to get a ticket in the tourney. Max, take it away. Marquette, UConn.
Well, Jim, I had to think about this game for about 2.5 seconds. I'm on UConn. I'm always on UConn. You know why I'm on UConn, Jim? Because they make you goddamn money. 12-4 ATS on the year. Right there, that's enough reason for you to bet UConn. Forget what I have to say in the next minute or two. You should just be betting UConn. So I'll tell you this, Jim. UConn's healthy. UConn's grimy. All right? UConn is a bunch of junkyard dogs looking to get their next meal, and Golden Eagles on the menu. All right? When I talk about this team, I have passion. I have extreme pride when I talk about this team because you know what? They're deep. They can throw different lineups at you, but they all do the same thing. They guard the perimeter, they crash the glass, and they play hard motherfucking nose defense. All right? There's no revenge being achieved for Marquette. Marquette fucked up. They got a big lead. We came back on their ass, and we beat them by double digits. We didn't forget that. We got Book back. All right? And as great as James has been, the 20 points didn't mean that much to me. What meant a lot to me was those 10 rebounds. When your star is willing to go in and get into those spots when he just came back from an injury and he's a little delicate, I got respect for that. I think that with UConn, when they hit threes, they're winning games and covering spreads. Tyler Polley, that's where your job is. You come off the bench and you hit threes. And if you don't, you're getting freaking slapped. I think that with UConn, they're going to hit the offensive glass. They're going to test the capability of Theo John and Dawson Garcia. They're going to judge them as betas that piss standing up. And with UConn, the advantage is field goal defense per possession. You look at that, then you know what it is. 3-point defense, only 6 makes allowed. Ball distribution from RJ Cole and Jalen Gaffney, that's going to be excellent. I can already tell. I already know this. And UConn's going to force Marquette into a lot of silly mistakes. That's going to end up in a double-digit victory for UConn. And I'm going to shed tears of joy, similar to how I shed tears of joy watching my St. Bonaventure Bonnies destroy George Washington this afternoon.
It's been moved to 7.5 at BetMGM at even money. Circa still hanging the 7, so no concern there. So is Fox Bet. See if Bet365 rarely help us out in this situation. Let's see if they do here. And they're still at 7 at minus 110. So it looks like I can't get you a 6.5. Let's give FanDuel a try. And no. So minus 7 at minus 110. Does that work for you?
Jim, whatever you can line shop for me works for me. I'm not holding a grudge. Maybe I am.
Okay.
I'm not holding a grudge.
What did you get? What did you get UConn at?
I didn't bet it yet.
You haven't bet yet?
No.
UConn Huskies minus 7 at minus 110, available almost across the board. One book has moved it to 7.5 at even money. Max's Huskies in action at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We move to 4 p.m. Eastern action here, and we start with number 11 ranked Florida State Seminoles right here. 14-3, 10-2 in the ACC at North Carolina Tar Heels. 14-8, 8-5 in the ACC. We're at Dean E. Smith Center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Florida State opening up as 2.5-point road favorites. That's moved to 3. This total sitting at 151. One book has dropped it a half point to 150.5. Florida State has lost 4 straight to North Carolina. They're coming off their 4th straight win. 88-71 at Miami on Wednesday night. Very well-balanced victory. 4 players scoring double digits, 3 others with 8+. They hit 53.6% from the field. They did it without the services of their leading scorer, senior MJ Walker. After scoring 0 points in 28 minutes against Pittsburgh, he was not in the lineup against Miami. He's listed as questionable to go. They also lost starter Malik Osborne to an ankle injury during the game. 6'9" junior, averages 5.9 points, 5 boards. Deep squad. They averaged 79.8 points per game. They hit 47.6% from the field, 39.1% from 3, and 74% from the stripe. North Carolina had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a disappointing 83-70 loss at home to Marquette as 9.5-point favorites. It was just North Carolina's 18th non-conference defeat in the 35-year history of the Dean E. Smith Center. Senior Garrison Brooks was the only starter to score double digits. The loss came on the heels of the Tar Heels absolutely destroying Louisville 99-54. Tar Heels have 4 players averaging double digits, led by 6'10" sophomore Armando Baycott, who averages 11.4 points, 7.5 boards. They rank second among Div 1 teams with an offensive rebound percentage of 39.5%. They average 15 offensive boards a game. They score 74.2 points per game. One of the reasons why they get so many offensive boards is they struggle with their shot at times. 44.3% from the field, 31.5% from 3, and 65% from the foul line. Max, here we go. ACC battle, Florida State, North Carolina. A beauty at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, Jim, this is a double-up spot. Florida State first half and full game. By my numbers, they have a first half advantage of 9 points, where UNC's definitely been a lot more stout in second halves at around 7 points. So I do want to double up just in case something bad happens and it's a tale of two halves. I think that with Florida State, listen, they got the size to negate the size of North Carolina. They can beat them at their own game on the glass, offensive or defensive, and they got the slashers that can literally kill this North Carolina defense with the clock stop, which means free throws being made. In Florida State, they can do that. With their three-point shooting, this Florida State team just gives you so many problems, whether they be at home or whether they be at the road. This is the time of year where they got to show that they can win on the road. And going into North Carolina versus a team that they have major matchup advantages against, they need to do that. I think that if you limit North Carolina's guard scoring, you win this game. And North Carolina, listen, they've been stout at home. Their second loss is coming tomorrow, though, and it's coming courtesy of Seminole Nation. I think that UNC is going to have their hands full with Florida State's three-point shooting. And I think that the amount of free throws that Florida State scores will determine whether or not we cash this full game. They can go toe-to-toe in any area of this game that North Carolina thinks that they have an advantage. And with Florida State having good ball movement from the likes of MJ Walker and Scotty Barnes, I think that Balsa Koprivica is going to play a big role. He's got a freaking task on his hand. But don't worry. If he can't handle it, you can call Ryerson transfer Tanner Nagome, and he can bring his 7'1" ass on, and he can take on Garrison Brooks and Armando Bacot. Dayron Sharp, you don't know. You don't want to deal with the Ryerson alum. He'll come in and he'll eat your goddamn breakfast. This is all Florida State. This is all Florida State all day. And listen, Leaky Black, Caleb Love, RJ Davis, you've been hitting threes lately. Let's see you do it against Florida State's defense. Okay? This is a Florida State spot all day, every day. Let's go.
-3 and -110s across the board. There is a -2.5 and -115. Does that interest you at all?
2.5 -115, please.
Florida State -2.5 at -115. Let me just find that. Oh, no, that's from BetMGM. BetMGM. And first half, I'll talk with you because I'll be up quite early tomorrow morning, and I can pull the trigger for you, but I'll wait to get your confirmation on it. I'll give you a bunch of line options. Do you have a limit?
No, because this line isn't going to balloon to a point that there needs to be a limit. If it's under 2.5, then it's in play.
All right. There you have it. We are in action in the ACC. Florida State Seminoles double-up spot for our Maxwell Smart. We move over to the SEC. Florida Gators, 12-6, 8-5 in conference, 4 p.m. Eastern. They head to Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky to face the Wildcats, who are 8-13, 7-7 in the SEC, but have won 3 straight. Let's see what we are dealing with here in this spot. Kentucky opening up as 2.5-point favorites. That's where they stand right now. This total sitting at 141. Florida's won 2 straight, coming off an impressive 74-57 win at Auburn on Tuesday night. Now, Sharif Cooper wasn't in the lineup, but still a dominant victory. Trey Mann, 19 points, 13 boards. He leads the team with 14.3 points, 5.7 boards, 3.6 assists. They have balanced scoring. Colin Castleton, Noah Locke, Tyree Appleby averaging double digits. Scotty Lewis just behind with 9.3. They score 76.2 points per game, and they shoot nice. 46.5 from the field, 35.5 from 3, 75.1 from the stripe. Kentucky's won 3 straight. That matches a season high. They're coming off exacting revenge in a 70-55 win at Tennessee on Saturday. Isaiah Jackson scored 16. Davian Mintz had 15. Keon Brooks, 10 and 12. 10 points, 12 boards. Olivier Sarr, 10 points. Brandon Boston leads this team with 11.9 points, and Brooks, Mintz, and Sarr are also averaging double digits. They struggle to score at times. Then they get poor distribution. 69.9 points per game, just 12.1 assists. They hit 41.5% from the field, 33.2% from three, and 73.3% from the stripe. Big one in Lexington, Kentucky, Max. Gators, Wildcats.
Yeah, Jim, I think that this is definitely a dangerous spot for Kentucky. They beat the shit out of Florida in their own building, and I think that there is a revenge factor for Florida, but this Florida team is beatable without Keontae Johnson. There really isn't a suitable replacement, albeit with Colin Castleton and Anthony Durgee. They don't really give you what Keontae does. And I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm just telling it how I see it. I think that Auburn victory, that wasn't an impressive victory to me. That was a game that they should have won. And Auburn beat themselves with their offensive performance. I think that with Kentucky, the question is, do they have one more win and cover in it? I think that they do. I think that there's a formula for Kentucky winning games, and it's hitting 6 or more threes, hitting 15 or more free throws, which they've done a really good job again to the free throw line, and forcing the defense to back itself up and play on its heels. I think that if this team can shoot over 50%, then we're not going to have any problems with them. The real difference and what's going to determine this spread is defense. With Kentucky, this is a team that deflects a ton of passes, deflects a lot of balls that result in whether that be time coming off the clock, a bad shot being taken, or a takeaway. I think that with this Kentucky team, they do a ton of blocking shots close to the rim, so they are going to deter drivers with their defensive play early on. So it will be critical for them to set the tone in that sense. And with them being able to take away the ball from their opponents, this is a long, athletic team. When you look at some of the wingspans for some of these Kentucky guards, you can understand why. So I think that obviously with Kentucky, you want Davion Mintz hopefully being able to carry over that 5 for 7 3-point shooting performance against Tennessee. If he doesn't, he's going to have to find ways to score other ways. He comes from a Coach McDermott Creighton run offense, so there should be some versatility and scoring in his game that we haven't seen in this Kentucky system. The problem with Kentucky is if they don't have the first half lead, for their confidence, they're a team that can sometimes play me ball. And when they play me ball, that usually coincides with them giving up in a game. I think that they win with 3-point efficiency, attacking the rim, and making Florida play sloppy and make improper decisions with the basketball. Tyree Appleby, while he is quality on paper, we have seen some turnover issues. We have seen some decision-making issues with him. And with Colin Castleton, I don't know if he can get going against this front court of Isaiah Jackson and Olivier Sarr. I think that when you bring on Keon Brooks and Jacob Toppin and you play them on the floor together, it's very hard to score on this Kentucky defense. So I think Florida's still going to have the same issues. I think Kentucky wins the game, and I think that they cover the number. So hopefully you can get me a good number, Jim.
It's the same right across the board. -2.5 and -110.
Sounds good to me.
We will go with FanDuel for recognition reasons in my notes, but they're all hanging 2.5 -110. Max back in the Kentucky Wildcats for their 4th straight victory. We have the final game on Max's card, 6 p.m. Eastern. Louisville Cardinals, 12-5, 7-4 in the ACC at Duke Blue Devils, 11-8, 9-6 in the ACC. We're at Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. See what we're dealing with here. Duke opening up as 5.5-point favorites. One book has moved it to 6. Rest stuck at 5.5. This total sitting at 142. Louisville bounced back from a disastrous 99-54 loss to North Carolina by winning at home 69-57 over Notre Dame on Tuesday night as 4-point favorites. Carlik Jones went for 18. He leads the team with averaging 17.2 points, 5.2 boards, 4.5 assists. Jalen Withers, 12 points, 13 boards. Louisville was playing at home for the first time since February 1st And they did that without David Johnson, their second leading scorer. He's averaging 12.7 points, 5.9 boards, 3.7 assists. Unspecified illness, but he's been upgraded to probable for this contest. Louisville scores 68.5 points per game. They get just 11.4 assists, and 8.2 of them come from Carlik Jones and David Johnson. So those are the only two guys handling the ball, hitting 44.1% from the field, 30.6% from three, and 72.4% from the stripe. Duke has won 4 straight. They're playing their best basketball of the year. The turnaround coincided with Jalen Johnson opting out for the season like a little bitch. They're coming off an 85-71 win at home over Syracuse that saw them shoot 53.1% from the field, 44.8% from three. DJ Stewart, their freshman, scored 21 points, 7 assists. Classmate Mark Williams, 18 points, 11 boards. That's his first double-double. Duke made 8 of their first 12 threes. They got assists on their first 16 field goals. I mean, this is a team coming together right now. 61.3% they shot in the first half, 10 of 18 from three. They scored 52 points in that first half. They averaged 76.1 points per game. They've always got nice distribution, 16.1 assists per game. They hit 47.2% from the field, 36.4% from three, and 69.6% from the foul line. Max, Duke 5.5-point favorites going for their 5th straight victory. Take it away, ACC action, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, this is a real tough game for Duke because mission number 1 for them is how do you slow down Carlik Jones? And now with David Johnson coming back, that's double trouble. And those guys, they can get into the paint, they can break down your defense and score on you with teardroppers and get into the free throw line and converting. I think that with this Louisville team, they're healthy, they're stout, but will it carry over onto the road where against these step-up competition or quality of opponents in the ACC, it really hasn't worked. They've beaten Boston College and Wake Forest on the road, but every other time they've gone out, they've gotten smashed. I think that with Duke, this is a team that is better without Jalen Johnson because, like you said, Jim, he's a bitch. All right, he's an opting out bitch. Takes the advice from fucking family members that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you know what? It will come back to him later on in life. I don't care what the Duke players say in public. How could they freaking look at this guy as their brother anymore? Okay? Matthew hurt. He's not hurt. He's kicking ass and taking names. And you know what? When you look at Henry Coleman and you look at Jalen Breakfield's the guy that I think is going to capitalize on this departure. He's a guy that's capable of giving you some quality defense, really making anybody that comes into the paint regret driving into the paint. And that's what you need against Louisville. Him and Henry Coleman and Mark Williams, these are the 3 guys that are going to determine whether or not Duke covers this game or not. You know they're going to score the basketball with Hurt and DJ Stewart and Jeremy Roach. You know that they're going to outshoot, outscore, and press Louisville. This is a team that's hitting 10 threes versus Louisville's 3-point defense, which still allows a lot of volume to happen. So that 28% isn't as good. I think that Duke obviously has to clean up their free throw line because their act there is definitely questionable at times. I think that you got to box the fuck out against Louisville. This is a team that can grind, you know. They're not going to just give up on rebounds. So you have to be able to box out, get out into transition, and let that very good ball distribution, which is 1.7 assist to turnover ratio, beautiful. I just think that this is a Duke team that it's a little bit of a big number, but in this point range, they've done well. I think that they're going to take care of business, and the way that I want to play it is going to be a little different. I want to get a first half team total on Duke. This is a Duke team that's been very dominant in the first half. Over the last 5 games, they've averaged on a low end of 45 points. If we can get a team total in the first half under 41.5, then I'm down like sundown with that. As far as the full game, I am going to take Duke. I do think that is right on my threshold, but it is a bad situation for Louisville. They haven't shown that they can win and cover on the road. And I think that Duke is able to get their tempo, unlike the game in KFC Arena and come home with the winner for us. So Duke's been making us money. Duke's on the last push. They're not in the tournament right now. So all they can do to help their cause is win games. So win a game against the Cardinals.
5.5s right across the board at -110. So no helping juice there. We can't. Let's see. Is there any? Is it too early to? Yeah, we can't get you the first half team total, but I will keep my eye out for it. A Duke -5.5 at -110, and that concludes Max's Saturday card. A good-looking card full of marquee matchups, and of course, we start in the Patriot League as Max is the governor of the Patriot League. Max, I'm going to review your action. Let me know if there's any mistakes here. You start with Navy Midshipmen at a pick'em, -110, and you're on the under 134.5 at -110. Then you take the Miami Hurricanes at +13.5 at Clemson. You follow that up with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish -7.5 at -115, as well as the under 149.5 in Notre Dame Boston College. You follow that up with the Arkansas Razorbacks -4.5 at -110. Then you have UConn -7 at -110. And Florida State Seminole double up. Full game, you got -2.5, -115 at BetMGM. We'll see what you get first half. Then we have Kentucky Wildcats -2.5 at -110. And we close up shop with the Duke Blue Devils -5.5, -110. And we will be adding a first half team total over. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
There you have it. Maxwell Smart running hot. Another winning day on February 25th. He comes back 2 days later to deliver the goods, and then we won't see Max again until Monday evening for Tuesday college basketball action. We're getting into conference tournaments. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Max on this channel. You'll be seeing a lot more of Max everywhere because it's his time of year. Max, we are 0.44 units away from the 30-unit mark. Your ROI, 7.64%. You're hitting at 55.8%. Unbelievable. That's over 387 bets with 216 winners, just 171 losers. Max, any last words for the great cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, I think that you guys are great people for supporting the show. I look forward to answering some of your less abrasive comments in the video chat. And I'll just say this. Listen, guys, eat your waffles, eat your pancakes, but don't goddamn forget, get that dark maple syrup in you. The dark stuff's the good stuff.